Hello and welcome to the, excuse my sinus problems, Deliverable Project 2 video. Um, and I'm going to step you through this one as well. So let's go into the class in Blackboard, content, CIS 150 assignments, deliverable projects, and project 2. And as you can see now, close all this. This is that draw flowcharting website, draw.io. But I have already done a bunch of the work for you, so you won't have to sit there and draw all this stuff out because it's not the easiest thing to do. So let's right click on it, and if you're in Google Chrome, save link as, and you want to put it in your CIS. I've already done this, but you want to put it in your projects directory, project 2, deliverable project 2, blah, blah, blah. So it's an XML file. You could override it. I'm not going to, but you'll be saving it for the first time. Make sure you get the latest one. The one that was out there earlier is not up to speed. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Draw.io, and we want to open an existing diagram. And obviously, you'll need to go to your device. Mine was already pointing there, and yours probably will be too now that you've downloaded it. And it's an XML file, extensible markup language, which is what this particular website uses. Now, I'm only doing 3 of those out of the book. There are 5, I think, but the last 2 are, it's really just more of the same. And I think you'll get what you need by doing this exercise here. So notice I've got tabs down here. This is the one that's out of the book. These are unstructured. These are all unstructured, okay? What you have to do is on A tab, you need to take this and make it structured. And on the B tab, you need to take that, copy it, paste it, and make it structured. And I'll show you how to do that. And this is unstructured as well. Actually, this one has the same 2 problems that this one and this one had. So by the time you get here, it'd be pretty straightforward. All right, so first thing let's do is let's go ahead and copy, go to your PG61, whatever that is, tab down there. Do a window and select everything, and then right-click copy. And then go to your A tab and just paste that, okay? You may have to move it around while it's still selected. That's okay. All right, so now let's go. In other words, there's no sense in redrawing it. You can just modify it on that other tab. So let's grab this one, copy it, and then just paste. Control V if you want to. Whoa, that didn't work. What happened? Oh, no. Go back. Let's try it again. I don't know what I did. Whatever it was, it didn't work, did it? You have to get everything in the window. So Control C, and then here and paste. There it goes. Okay. This program is better than what we used before, but not much. So that's why we don't use it a whole lot. But it is free. So, all right, go to your 3rd tab here. Remember, all these are unstructured. They work, but they're just unstructured. Select everything, copy it, and paste it to tab C. All right. Okay, let's go. Let's take a look at this one. We know this one's unstructured, and we copied it to tab A. What's the rule for structured programs? Oh, you might want to save this thing as you go along too. It is that you can only have 1 entry point and 1 exit point for every object in here, every shape. Okay. We know something is coming into A. We don't care where. This is not a complete program with start and stop and all that. So something's coming into A, and then A has to go into B. If B is false or no, it just goes out, doesn't do anything. So this is a single-sided decision. Okay. So if A goes into B, if B is true or yes, it goes into C. Now C has to go into A as well, but it can't go into this one because why? Because there's 2 entry points if we do it that way. So we need to fix this and make it structured. If C has to go into A and something else has to go into A, they both can't go into the same A, so what do? We have to duplicate something, okay? All right, so I'm going to delete this arrow, and I'm going to copy A, because I know I got to have another copy of it. C's got to go into it, right? So I'm going to put it somewhere. I just copied and pasted is all I did. And I'm going to stretch this up right here a little bit. Oop, there we go. That might make it a little easier. Actually, this is a loop, not a decision, but it's got a decision in it. It's decision and structure or sequence. So what do? Well, we need to connect C to A, right? And it's a little bit off, so I'm going to do that. And then we need to connect A right at the top of this decision in this loop, which is where it has to go. Now, it didn't work the way I wanted it to, so let's see if we can modify that a little bit. You can grab, let me do that real quick because I don't want you to get all messed up. Just click, hold, and drag. Put it approximately where you want it. Click the end point, and then the other end point, drag it over. And I believe that's what you want right there. So now if you go back and look at the original, everything is the same. The logic is correct. It's just not structured. You can't change the logic without changing the functionality of the program, which is not what you're doing. You're just structuring the program. So something goes into A goes into B. If B is true or yes, it goes into C, which goes into A, and so forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. All right, so that's a loop. What have we done? We have structured it. We duplicated A so that C went into a different A than that A. It can't go into the same because you'd have two ways in, two ways out. So essentially now we have the same functionality but structured. This goes into A goes into B, which is a loop decision. If B is yes or true, it goes to C, which goes to A. Not this A, but another A. So we maintain the functionality. And this A goes back to the top of the decision. So that is now structured. Okay. Now you have to make those changes because you're going to turn this in for a grade, and you can go back and watch the video again. It's no big deal. All right, now here's the second one. Let's take a look at it. I know you've seen this in my last lecture. It should be kind of apparent. You can only have one entry point and one exit point, but you can't change the functionality of the program. The logic has to be maintained. It just has to be put in a structured form. So D goes into this decision here, which is a dual alternative if. If E is true or yes, it goes into H, which then goes into I, and then it comes out. All right. Now let's look at the other side. So that's the problem right there. D goes into E. If E is false or no, it goes into F. F goes into another decision, G. If G is true, it goes into I, but it can't go into this I because that's two ways into that I. So what do you do to make it structured? Well, you just copy it. Okay. So let's go over here. Make sure you're working on these A, B, C tabs and not the actual unstructured tabs. All right. You'll have to be careful about that. So let's go ahead and just delete that right there. I'm going to copy I because I have to have a separate copy of it for G to go into. And at that point, all I got to do is reconnect a few things. All right. Now you can zoom in and out here. Sometimes these lines don't connect the way you want them to. Like I said, by the time you get where you can manage this, you probably won't be using it anymore unless you just want to use it for your own, logical work. See that? It doesn't want to act right. This needs to go up a little bit, I think. There we go. All right, so there's that. I'm going to drag this over here. See what I mean? It's real picky. That's why I'm not forcing you to use this a whole bunch. I don't like it either, so. But it's free. And it's not terribly bad either, actually. Okay, now I need a line. See the little objects over here I'm using? There's a line. I click. Now, if you just click on it, whoa, that didn't work. That didn't work out good at all, did it? I'm telling you, this mouse is going wild with me over here. Ooh, look how far I zoomed in. You can use your you can use your thumb button to zoom in and out if you're having issues with connections. Like I might go in here and do that. So you want to, if you just click on this, it's going to stick it down here. Then you got to drag it all the way over here. You can do it that way, but I just rather get it closer. So I click, hold, and just drag it, and then I connect things the way I want them. So I has to go. There can only be one way in and one way out of all this. So you have to connect all this stuff together, and that is one way in and one way out. H goes into I goes out. On the yes side of G, it goes into I, and I goes out. So those are two, they're the same code, the same objects, but there's two of them, so you duplicate it a little bit. All right. Let's look at C now. Make sure you're not working on this page. You need to go to your C tab. This is actually the same two things we just got through doing. That one and that one. Let me zoom out a little bit. And you pan it. How do you pan this? Oop. I tell you, it's just driving me nuts. Okay, so there is C. Okay, so let's take it one piece at a time. K goes into L. L's a dual alternative if. If L is true or yes, L goes into P. And then P goes into Q. But Q, if it's true, has to go back into P. Well, it can't go into this P. Okay, so that's not going to work. We're going to have another P over here. And that's what we did right here. Remember? We had two A's. That's what we're going to do here. So let's get rid of that. Well, maybe I can just, probably not. Oh, every time I try to take a shortcut, I get in trouble. Which is the story of my life, really. Let's see if we can do it like this. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm going to have to adjust it a little so my lines aren't crooked. And this can go down to here. All right, so that looks kind of funky, but I'm going to fix that, so bear with me just a minute. Careful you don't grab these things in the middle because you can do curves with them. This probably needs to go down a little bit, probably. Oh, I fixed it. How about that? Okay, now let's go back and look at our original logic. Make sure we didn't change anything. Can't change the logical flow. So if L is true, it goes into P. P goes into Q. If Q is true, it goes back into P. Well, it can't go into that P, but it has to maintain the logic. So if you look here, if L is true, it goes into P. P goes into Q. If Q is true, it goes into P, and so forth. And there's your loop. Okay. Now, even though that looks like it's two ways in, two ways out, it's not because it's a loop. And the last object inside the loop has to go back to the top of the decision. So that's structured. Now, what's the other thing here? Well, it looks to me like it's right down in here. And we just did that, right? On the second one, see how we fixed it? We duplicated I. Well, that's what we're going to do here. It's really not difficult as long as you get into the habit of saying, I can't change the logic of the program. It works. It's just not structured. So I need to make it the same as it was, only structured. And that means duplicating things. And that's okay. All right. So we're going to copy and paste R. Move it over to here. I guess. Maybe down a little. Okay. This is probably, it'll be easier just to delete this, I bet. All right, let me zoom in a little bit. Let's put a line here. Whoops, see what I did? I didn't drag and drop it. See what we can do with this. That's going to need to go up a little, I think. There we go. If you get it on those grids, they tend to match up a little bit better. But it's hard to see sometimes. There we go. Now let's do an arrow. Take this, put it right there. And then this end goes over here. Yeah. And then I need another line, so to connect that. This goes here, and this goes somewhere there. See how it's just not worth the effort to try to fix stuff like that. But as long as you've got it structured, and it won't show up that bad anyway. It's just when these were drawn, I didn't pay attention to the grid lines. Sometimes you run out of space anyway. So now this is structured. Whoops. What I just did, you don't need to do. I just worked on the wrong one. As a matter of fact, you may just want to delete A, B, and C and just work on these. But the reason I've got them on separate tabs so you can go back and forth and look at them. So let me go here, since I've already done the work. And that. Copy it. And paste it. And delete that. I did the very thing I told you not to do, or warned you about. Didn't tell you not to do it. You wouldn't do it on purpose anyway. Okay, and there. All right, so now it's kind of straight. So what we have here is we have two R's because Q on the yes side has to go into R. And this Q on the yes side has to go into R. Oh, that's O, excuse me, not Q. I was about to say. O on the yes side has to go into R, and Q on the no side has to go into R. And you tie them back all together, and that gives you one way out. Okay? Give that a look-see. So yours should be on, your corrected one should be on A, B, and C. Now, once you get it correct, if you want to delete these tabs and just give me A, B, and C, that's fine. Because I already know what they look like when they're unstructured. That's just, so let's save this and upload it for a grade. This is a little kludgy, okay? Let's do file save as to the device. Whoop, what did I do? That didn't work. Save as, there it goes. I don't know what I did. All right, so what you can do is just, show it in the folder. It's going to put it into your Windows downloads. It doesn't really care about that. And then just copy and paste it where it needs to go. So it's going to go here. And it'll give it an extension. You see how many times I played around with it. So there you go. And so you'll upload this one. I'm going to delete the old one. And you can rename it and get rid of that index if you want. It's up to you. I don't really care about that. Okay, so now it's on your jump drive, and we can close the website, and we don't care. We saved it, we hope. And so now what we want to do is click on Project 2 under Deliverable Projects. We're going to upload that file or attach that file. So browse my computer, and if it's not pointing to where you put it, you'll have to re-navigate it, but basically mine was already looking there. Project 2, there it is, okay. Submit. Of course, you will get a green arrow there, and there you go. That's pretty much it. So now you have a video on In-Class Lab 2 and Deliverable Lab 2, and I will see you next time in class.